Hey guys, Enigma223 coming at you with a video. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. I've been pretty busy with work. I was doing overtime this week, so I'm sorry about that. Today's topic for my video is about Yu-Gi-Oh! And psychology and how they mesh and how they don't mesh. And it's kind of going to be almost a segment I'm doing, but I'm just going to talk about it every so often. So I took a lot of psychology courses in high school and in college. Specifically things about cognitive psychology, which is psychology of the mind and how it works, basically studying the brain. So today's topic about psychology is going to be about gestures and how you can use them to your advantage and how you can kind of figure out what your gestures are. And that should help you become a better player in the sense that you won't be giving away your moves half the time. I'm sure you guys all know what poker is. Poker is a game of gestures. If you're playing Texas Hold'em and you're holding pocket aces, and some of the guy sees your eyes gleam a bit when you look at them, they're gonna know you got something good. So basically, what I'm going to be doing is kind of going over maybe almost some tips and tricks. And so I want to start with developing a poker face, and this is important. This is something that Mr. VCTRFS stated in one of his videos about what separates good players from great players. And great players have this poker face. So if you're a great player, you don't really need to watch these videos because I'm not a great player. I'm not trying to tell anyone that I'm a great player, but I can be serious when I'm playing the game and still have fun at the same time. Basically, to get a better poker face, you have to work on not reacting to anything. And it's kind of hard. I know it's really hard to. It sounds kind of stupid and obvious when I say that, but like when you draw, if you draw like the perfect top deck card, don't like instantly be like, oh yeah, I got that card, and just slap down like a Monster Reborn or something, and then be like, yeah, that's right. What you want to do, you want to be like subtle with your movements, like super subtle with your movements, and it's so important to get this right. Like if I'm playing with my deck right here, it's my deck, and I get a hand like that's not good at all. Like I don't want to be like and like droop my head and all this stuff because it's gonna give away that you have a bad hand, and that's not good. Because especially like if you draw like if you just draw bad, like don't give it away to your opponent. You can use that. You can use the poker face to your advantage because they have no idea like what you drew usually. Basically, what you want to be doing with your gestures is minimalize them. Don't make gestures. Play the game as though like in your mind you're centered and you're like a rock. Like you don't react positive or negative to anything because they're gonna figure it out, and the good players and the great players are gonna be able to read you, and you're gonna lose. If you draw like say you draw your 6 cards start hand, you have a Gores, and you immediately just go, and you just drop all your cards. They're gonna know you have Gores. They're not that dumb. What I like to do, this is just something that I do. When I draw Gores, I like to put like one face down card, and then end my turn. Because at least with that one face down card, you might be able to trick the opponent into thinking you don't have a Gores because you put a card down. Then you can either use that card, like usually I set like a Book of Moon or a Bottomless or something, and if they summon a monster, I can hit it with Bottomless or Book of Moon it, and then they won't think I have a Gores. And then next turn, like they could bust out with something, and I'll just drop the Gores, and they'll. Sometimes I'm actually like really able to surprise people with moves like that. But you'll notice if you watch like duels of the better play, like I say the quote better, like as in the ones that are topping all the events, there's no reaction anywhere. Like when they're playing those big events, there's zero going on here. They have a very like stoic, well, it's not like stoic, but it's just like it's almost an emotionless, expressionless. Like they could be smiling and having fun, blah 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 blah, but usually like they're calm. Because if you're like freaking out over a card game, you need to stop playing this card game. kind of just how it is, in my opinion. So basically, with gestures, you want to see how your opponents, their facial movements and like their twitches, like and all this stuff. You can use this to your advantage. It's really important. Like if your opponent is like constantly shuffling their cards in their hand, like just they can't help it. Like they're super impatient and they just can't help but like shuffle the cards and keep continually look at the face downs and just keep looking at the face downs. It's either they're trying to bluff something and they have nothing, or they're just super impatient players. And you cannot like I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I might have. You need to control the pace of the game if you want to win. You cannot let your opponent be in control of the game if you want to win, because you need to be in control to win. You can't lose. You can't win if you're not in control of the game. Like people will be like, "Oh, well, you got that magic cylinder." Well, magic cylinder means I'm in control of the game because I know that at any moment you're going to attack, and I'm just going to flip this magic cylinder, and you're going to take a whole bunch of damage, and you're going to lose. That's just how it works. You need to be. You need to be thinking things ahead, basically. You need to be, and you need to be, you need to have very undivided attention to your opponent's face. When it's their turn, like when it's your turn, clearly look at your cards and pick your combos and whatnot. But when it's their turn, you got to be attentive. You got to be looking here at the face. You got to see the field. You got to look at the graveyard. I mean, know what's in their graveyard. That's important. But you should be able to like know what's in it, and then don't look at it. And then, like, if you got a card that you can use in your graveyard, don't look at it. Just don't look at it, because they're going to know you want to use it, and they're going to find some way to stop it. I've had a lot of times where I've been trying to, like, if I'm playing someone who's playing Absolute Zero, and they see looking to the graveyard, I know the Miracle Fusion's clearly coming. And I mean, more often than not, I'll be able to flip up a Mind Crush, name Miracle Fusion, and I'll see them drop 1 or 2 copies out of their hand. It's really obvious. A lot of the things that I'm saying are kind of common sense when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, pay attention, use your eyes, but it bears repeating because it's really important, guys. I mean, I might sound like a complete idiot because of me talking about gestures and psychology and all this stuff, but I really feel that Yu-Gi-Oh does have a mental aspect, and people don't pay attention to it very much. I want to see like the top pros just be like, "Oh, well, I did it just because I drew the right cards and I didn't use any, skill at all. It's whatever." That's not true. That's not true. The skill of Yu-Gi-Oh comes not only in how to use the cards, but how to read your opponent. And if you can read their gestures, you can do that. And the best way, here's the best way to learn about your gestures is to play people and either film it and watch it, or ask them after the match, like, did I do anything that was like telling? Like, when I drew that Dark Arm Dragon, did my eyes just like shout with excitement to you? Like they widen up and go, like, I mean, things like that. I mean, the best way to get help the best way to get better is to ask for help. There's some things you can't do yourself, like get better at the rules and learn the combos yourselves and how the deck flows and whatnot. But for things like the mental aspect of the game, which is really important, it's gestures. So learn how to read gestures. Pay attention. Be more attentive when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. That's why I always advocate when you go to a regional, getting some sleep. Be awake. Stay hydrated, all this kind of stuff. I mean, have a breakfast. Make sure you have the ability to play. And that's really all I have for this week, guys. I'll share more with psychology, probably more with the bluffing aspect, and more with just the general playing with psychology and toying with your opponent and whatnot, trying to confuse them. That'll be other videos, obviously. The next video I'm probably going to bring you is in a couple days when MCO40 throws me the Raikos I need and a Burial, and I'll show you guys the zombie deck I've been cooking up. But until then, feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'm Air Enigma 0223. Peace out, guys.